Here's the video for this week. We've got it actually up and running in Unity now. We'll jump in and go through what everyone's been doing for Plasma Possum. So, here we have a level all set up. I'll just go through and do the basic game loop of winning the game. So you can run along, you can use the ladders. At the moment these aren't active enemies, these are just the art just sitting in the scene, so they don't damage you or anything. But you can use the ladders, you can jump on them from halfway, get off, do that stuff. And then if you get to this golden box at the top, which is a placeholder for our final tree or goal you have to reach to, and then you jump into it, touch it, and you win, and get to start again. You can also see we've got a high score and current score system that isn't hooked up to anything at the moment because we don't have enemies to get points off. But that's the basic loop of the gameplay. I'll go through and show you how this scene is set up. Okay, so if we go over to the scene view on this one, I press F so I can actually find where everything is. Oh god. Okay, there we go. Like I showed last week, we've got the ladders there, you can just move them around and latch up to things. We have a similar system for the platforms, whereby they have these gizmos on the end that you can just stretch them out, and wherever they get to, the texture will apply to them correctly, and the collider and everything will work for them. This will integrate with the barrels and stuff, so they'll be moving down wherever there are slopes that go downwards, and so forth. If you want to go through some of the art, these little crab people, they are the flaming enemy equivalent, so they're going to be sitting in like a, we're going to have a little crab den or a little bunch of rocks or something that they'll be hiding in, essentially. And then the equivalent of the blue barrels that come down will sort of spook them out, get them real mad, and they'll jump out and start clattering around and following you through like the red guys do. And these are our barrel equivalents, so it's not showing very well from a distance here, but if I jump back into the game view, I should have just showing off in that way. So these are jellyfish, or they're going to be. It'll be more obvious when they're animated and sort of wiggling about. But they're going to be spat out of a crocodile, just like how all jellyfish are born. And they're going to roll around, and there will be different colors depending on what their actions are, just like they are in the original Donkey Kong. This crocodile at the moment is the same one we showed last week, where it's just all on a big quad, if I show you up here. But we have it set up so that if I go over to the art assets crocodile, so this is the texture sheet, which will be divided up into pieces like the possum was, and so it can be animated like the possum. Before I move on to the possum, there was something else. Ah yes, the tinting. So for the jellyfishes and for the possum and other things, we have a shader set up that I assume would be those similar things with color tinting in GameMaker, so that the actual texture for this is made up just of red, green, and blue colors. And then we have 3 colors, so people can either change the colors of things for gameplay elements, such as the blue jellyfish looking different for how they behave, so I can change it to blue here. It's more visible in the game view. So we can change them in their different components to whatever colors we want. And all the kids or whoever can just choose a color scheme that they prefer. This is also used on the platform, so you can change anything on there. Alright, I'll get over to the possum now. So I've been working on animating the possum that we had last week, and you notice it's not much of the same single color that we had before as well. So go to my testing scene, and here's the possum. We'll just jump into play mode. So at the moment it's just going to be running on the spot. These particles are a work in progress, but they're basically going to be popping off the ground with each of the steps you make. most of the animations aren't hooked up yet, so it's just constantly running at the moment. But some of the stuff we've got ready and working in there is if it's not moving, it'll just have an idle animation. There's a simple turnaround transition for facing either direction. And if it's in the air, so if it's jumped or if it's fallen off a platform, it will be in the jumping state. I'll quickly show what this means. None of this stuff over here in the animator, it'll be like how we had before, where it's layers of complexity hidden by stuff that's already set up. Basically, if they're in the air, the current horizontal and vertical speeds will change so that if it's jumping straight up, it'll look like this. If it's jumping up but over to the side, it'll be more like that, and everything in between. So we've got if it's falling straight down, it'll be like this. So hopefully once this is hooked up, we haven't tested yet, but it should blend nicely between all these states, so it'll create nice smooth curves with whatever the character is doing in the air, because a difference with this and Donkey Kong, the original, is that you can change direction mid-jump. And that is, yeah, that's the look of the Possum. It's a bit blown out in the phone, but it's the color scheme we're going for at the moment. Again, this can be changed by you or the students or whoever. Another little thing that also isn't quite hooked up, but basically the player would sort of do a little flip every third jump. It's very special, and then jump. I don't know. Let's get back to here and jump. And boop. Sort of do a quick spin and then transition into the other blend. But that's most of the game we have there at the moment. Hopefully next week we'll start getting the enemies in there and rolling around and animated and stuff. Next video will be about the Moon Patrol game.